My name is Rich Harrington for Understanding Adobe Photoshop, and today I'd like to talk to you about selections. When you're working in Photoshop, you need to select what you want to manipulate. Photoshop isn't smart enough to just pick up pixels automatically. For example, I can't say, select the bear. Photoshop can't tell the difference, so it offers several tools that allow you to make selections. Over our next few video lessons, we're going to take a look at a lot of these, and I just want to start off with the bare bone basics here so you understand the concept. So with the case of this bear here, I might want to choose the bear, and I've got the ability to do that using various shapes if I wanted to. Start to draw out selection shapes. If I hold down the Shift key, I can add to that selection and get more. We can use the ability to take a lasso tool and attempt to freehand select and draw around the subject, making an object selection. And you see that while that works, that's sort of the equivalent of trying to cut something out with an X-Acto knife, which works but is not the easiest method. And of course, we have all sorts of other tools here, such as the Quick Selection tool, which allows us to make a selection based upon the color of the image. And as we drag through, if you ever want to subtract, you just hold down the Option key and it will remove from the current selection. So you see there, lots of controls. Now, with this in mind, let's start off with the marquee tools and really get some quick, accurate selections. I'm going to switch over to this document here that just contains a few shapes, and we'll start with the rectangular marquee tool. This allows you to click and drag to select an object. And that works well. If you want to make a perfectly square selection, you just hold down the Shift key. So if we were to come up here and click, and then hold down the Shift key, notice that a square selection is maintained. And in fact, because I have guides in the image, it actually snaps to those guides. One way to make that easier for guides is you just drag them out from the rulers into place where you want them, and that can help make a more accurate selection like we've done here. Grab the marquee tool, position that, hold down the Shift key, and drag. It's important to remember, if you want to constrain the selection, you hold down the Shift key after you click. If you've already got a selection and you hold down the Shift key before you click, it adds to the selection as you see here. So it becomes necessary occasionally to deselect. Command or Control D will deselect, or just choose Select, Deselect. And that allows you to remove it. You could then start to make your selection and hold down the Shift key to constrain it. Similarly, if you want to subtract from a selection, just hold down the Option or the Alt key, and it will remove parts of the selection. And there you see it. If you want to modify that approach, you can do the same thing with the elliptical marquee. So let's grab that. It's up here with the other marquee. And I can click and start to draw. Now, you see I got a decent selection there, but I kind of missed my subject. So if I just move the cursor inside, I can actually drag that and reposition it. And if I didn't get the selection just right, don't worry, it's easy to modify. Just choose Select, Transform Selection, and now you have the ability to use essentially the free transform command to modify your selection. And when satisfied, you can, of course, nudge that around with arrows, and then when satisfied, press return, and you've got an accurate selection. You can continue to move that around as long as you've got the marquee tool selected in the toolbox. And there we have it. If you want to constrain that elliptical marquee to a circle, same concept. Let's press Command D to deselect and come up here. I'm going to go to the center of the object here, hold down the Shift and Option key, and start to draw. And notice that it draws a circle from the middle and constrains the proportions. That got pretty close. We can nudge that into place with the arrow keys. There we go. And if necessary, select, transform selection, and we'll just tighten that up a bit. There we go. And nudge it into place and press return. Now, there's lots of things to do with selections, and we'll cover them throughout our video lessons, including selective color adjustments and selective transformations. But remember, you'll find all sorts of options here, including the ability to select all, deselect your current selection. If you need to reload it, just choose Select, Reselect, and your last active selection becomes reactivated. And of course, you can also say Inverse to select everything but your selection. So, mastering your selection commands, as well as those modifier keys and menu options, are a great way to become much more precise when working in Adobe Photoshop.